quick guide to the basic kit you need to get cooking fantastic food.
You don't need to spend a fortune on masses of kitchen equipment.
Here are 3 more kitchen essentials.
Whisk, spoon and spatula. These 3 items are so cheap, yet they are so important to great home cooking. A whisk. There's so much more control when you've got something whisking in your hand. You can gauge it so much better than you can if it's on an electric mixer.
The bigger the balloon on your hand whisk, the faster it will whip as it draws in more air. Wooden spoons don't scratch pans and should be washed by hand. Spatulas are indispensable for baking or mixing.
Make sure it's heat resistant so it doesn't melt. But more importantly, phenomenal for making omelettes, great with scrambled eggs, and you waste nothing because the spatula almost cleans the bowl instantly.
With these 3, you'll be well on your way to cooking like a pro. And you'll need all 3 for my next recipe. My take on classic chocolate brownies is guaranteed to put a smile on anyone's face, and not just when they're fresh out of the oven. Blondies.
Stock up on these delicious blondies. They'll keep for up to a week, and it's a great way of getting ahead if you're expecting guests round. First off, melt the butter for the mixture. We've had hundreds and hundreds of brownies. The sort of white chocolate version, i.e. blondies, are amazing. A little bit more subtle. Keep a little knob of butter for the end, just to grease your baking tray. Turn the gas down and gently melt that butter. Cast the sugar into the bowl. Just give that butter a little whisk. It sort of makes the mixture a little bit lighter, slightly fluffy. Off with the gas. A pinch of salt in the sugar. Then make a little well in the middle and sort of whisk. You can see it's already gone nice and blonde. Love it. Give that a really good mix. And the secret with the butter being slightly warm, sort of, it melts the sugar. Get nice and smooth. Lovely. A teaspoon of vanilla extract in. Next, lightly whisk in 2 whole eggs. Just give them a little beat. This is such a delicious recipe, yet so simple. Whisk in the eggs. Looking for that nice, sort of rich, textured, smooth paste. You can see why we call these blondies. Beautiful. Next, a teaspoon of baking powder. Baking powder in. Then half a teaspoon of baking soda. That aerates the mixture and gives it that little tartness. You'll see this sort of rise instantly the minute they hit the oven. And then your flour. Whisk with one hand. And just slowly add half the flour first. Get that all mixed up. Make sure that mixture is really nice and smooth. Check it occasionally. No lumps. Half the flour in, and then the other half in. You'll feel it sort of almost go nice and firm. And that's why it's so important to add the flour in stages. It stops the mixture going lumpy. It should be just dropping off the whisk. Beautiful. Change over from a whisk to a spoon. Next, I want some texture, some nice sweet chewiness to the blondies. Dried cranberries. They bake beautifully, but it gives the blondie a really nice sort of chewy sweetness in the center. Next, my white chocolate. I'm not going to grate it. I'm going to chop it up. Just slice it like little bits of shrapnel. I want the chocolate like little matchsticks dotted around. Now, chocolate in. Lovely. Fold that in. I want a nice, even distribution of those wonderful dried cranberries. Don't over-mix it. I don't want to break up that chocolate. A nice, even mix of cranberries and chocolate. You can see the chocolate. There'll be parts of the chocolate in the oven that will actually melt. There'll be like little pools of white melted chocolate in the center. Now, baking tray. Small little knob of butter. I'm going to grease the baking tray and line it with some greaseproof paper and just overextend it. shiny side out, dull side hits the bottom of the tray. In. Greaseproof allows me to maximise on the white chocolate inside the mix. No greaseproof paper, the chocolate can melt and almost stick to the tray, so the paper is just a really nice insurance policy. Secondly, we want that rise and that sort of crispness. Now, with the mix, get your spatula, go all the way round. I don't want to see anything left in that bowl. Position the bowl over your tray, nice and carefully. Lovely. Don't leave that slice in the bowl. Nobody's licking that one. And then just take the back of the spatula, go into the corners, push, and come back into the middle. Turn the tray around, let it work to your advantage. Try and get it evenly positioned in the tray. If it goes in even, it cooks evenly. Make sure you smooth out the top of the blondie with the back of the spatula. And then into the oven. It's going to rise, it's get nice and crisp. I want that soft gooiness in the centre.
Bake your blondies at 180 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes.
That smells incredible. Got that crisp edge on the outside and that sort of soft, gooey centre. Leave that to cool down and it's going to sort of firm up and wrinkle, but it'll stay nice and gooey in the centre. Once it's cooled down, take it out and start slicing.
Mouth-watering blondies, a fantastic easy treat to have on hand for yourself or to share.
Next, my tricks of the trade and kitchen tips.
To make your life easier, make sure you make the most of your freezer. My tip for amazing tuna carpaccio is to freeze it first, and it will slice beautifully. It's wise to save leftover wine for cooking. My tip is to freeze the remaining wine in freezer bags or ice cube trays. It's great in stocks and sauces. When you freeze soups or stews in tubs, the tip is not to overfill them. Leave room to expand in the container. A great tip for a cheap homemade ice cream: buy a high-quality vanilla ice cream and make it your own by mixing in berries, chocolate, or my favourite, rum and boozy raisins. A fantastic tip for leftover lemons and limes is to cut them into wedges, freeze and use them like ice cubes. They won't water down your drink and they'll also add flavour. Follow my ultimate cookery course, crammed with key lessons. Top tips and 100 recipes to stake your life on, and you'll literally be cooking yourself into a better chef. Go on, get cooking. Next time, my ultimate guide to real fast food. More great cooking tips.
Everyone always cuts around. Just tilt it upwards, straight through.
How to bag the best balsamics.
You can afford it, it's worth.
And more incredible recipes to stake your life on.
I'll take that over a hamburger any day.